Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Franchise Interviews. For over 6 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 6 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with Dave Messanger, who is the director of market expansion for ServiceMaster Clean. And ServiceMaster Clean is part of the ServiceMaster family of brands, one of the world's largest and most versatile service networks. The ServiceMaster family of brands include True Green, Terminex, American Home Shield, ServiceMaster Clean, Mary Maids, Furniture-Medic, and AmeriSpec. And we're going to talk to Dave about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we have a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing: helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities, or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 6 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, and I'm the president of Franchise Interviews. And as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Dave Messanger, who is the director of market expansion for ServiceMaster Clean. And ServiceMaster Clean is part of the ServiceMaster family of brands, one of the world's largest and most versatile service networks. Hey, Dave, how you doing today? Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Marty. Great to be here with him. Doing fine.
Oh, that's fantastic, Dave. It's great to finally have you on the show. I just realized after, we've been doing the show 6 years now. I'm very familiar with ServiceMaster, of course, and we've never had you on the show, so it's exciting to finally have you. We always like to ask our guests, where are you calling from this morning?
Calling from Memphis, Tennessee, which is our headquarters for not only ServiceMaster Clean, but all the ServiceMaster companies that you mentioned earlier.
That's fantastic, and that's a lot of brands, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it is. We're probably one of the largest service providers throughout the country, if not the world, on the variety of services we offer.
That's great. I think a lot of people know who ServiceMaster is, but, a lot of our listeners may not know about, the whole history behind the company, and I thought maybe we can start there.
Well, that'd be a great place to start. The company actually got started in Chicago in 1947, 66 years ago. And the original company is the company we know today as ServiceMaster Clean, which does janitorial, disaster restoration, and carpet and hard floor cleaning. And then we've been franchising for 61 years. So we're one of the original founding members of the International Franchise Association.
That's amazing. That's a long time, too. I mean, when you hear about that history, and I think one of the things about ServiceMaster, too, or one of the things that stand out to me, Dave, is that, they're very good at franchising, too, aren't they? And I guess that's probably the reason, for a lot of the other brands, you have a concept that you can duplicate, whether it's in New Jersey, it's all the way to California. So I think that's fantastic.
Well, yes, we have a lot of experience in franchising and now have 4 franchise brands, ServiceMaster Clean being the largest, and then Mary Means, which is in the residential cleaning business, is second largest, and then Furniture Medic and Amerispec. Furniture Medic is in the wood and furniture restoration business, and Amerispec's in the home inspection business. So we're very proud of our franchise brands, as we are of our corporate brands, which are big branch companies, True Green and Terminex.
That's great. How do you typically describe ServiceMaster? Again, I think most people are familiar with ServiceMaster. I always think of like the bright yellow trucks, Dave. When
Very good.
I think of ServiceMaster, absolutely. You see them all over the place. But how do you typically describe the franchise to a prospective franchisee? Like if you were at a franchise show and they came up to your booth and they said, "So what do you guys do?" How do you typically respond?
Well, under ServiceMaster Clean, we actually have 3 different services. We are in the disaster restoration business. Okay. We're in the janitorial, the commercial cleaning business, and then in the hard floor care business, both carpet and hard floor cleaning. So we talk about those opportunities. We certainly talk about our length of time in franchising and our size. I mean, we're 3,000 franchises here in the U.S. and 4,500 around the world. And so each service line, of course, is very different. And one of the biggest opportunities we have right now is in our janitorial commercial cleaning business, where we have a lot of franchise territories available around the country.
That's fantastic. I guess things have changed over time from when, ServiceMaster began to, where you are today. How has technology played a role in ServiceMaster's business, Dave?
Well, it's had been quite a lot of changes over the years, both in the equipment that our franchise owners use in the production of their work, and then also in cleaning methods such as green clean. Green cleaning is very popular now, especially in some of the coasts up in the West Coast and the East Coast, and so we're seeing a big surgence of that. And then also in different cleaning processes, we have one in our janitorial business called capture and removal, which actually one of our employees here developed and now has a patent on it. So we're seeing a lot of change in processes as well. And we'll continue to see that type of change as we continue to grow and as time goes on.
That's great. I guess you're in a couple different industries, so you can say. I mean, how big are the industries that you're in, Dave? I imagine they're pretty big.
Yeah, the largest is our janitorial. It's about a $60 billion annually, and that's just domestic numbers. And as you can imagine, it's very highly fragmented. A lot of mom and pops in the business, and then a few big players, and then some other franchisors like ourselves in that business too.
That's fantastic. Has there been anything interesting that's stood out, since you've been, with ServiceMaster? I'm sure there's a lot of different stories, but, what are maybe one of the most interesting things that's happened to you, since being with the company?
Well, I guess for me, I started with a company in Canada in 1991 and was 9 years in the Canadian operation before moving down to the U.S. and heading up our market expansion efforts in the United States. And just a lot bigger pond to fish in down here. Typically, the U.S. is 10 times as big as anything in Canada.
Sure.
So that's been a significant change for me and something that I've enjoyed greatly over the years.
That's fantastic. So, what kind of characteristics does ServiceMaster look for in their franchisees, Dave?
Well, we're I'll talk a little bit about our janitorial business because that's one kind of we'll maybe focus on. We're looking because it's really a management business. We don't want people who want to do cleaning. We want people who want to manage, own, and run a business. And so with that, it's highly labor intensive, as you can imagine. Yeah. And so we're looking for people with good people skills because they're dealing obviously with a lot of employees and with their customers. And also people, obviously, who are well organized because it's a business of 1,000 details all the time.
Sure.
And obviously somebody who wants to build a business, not just buy themselves the job.
Right, absolutely. So obviously there's no experience required to be in this type of business anyway.
No, that's right. I mean, we have people from all walks of life, people who have been in sales or sales management, people who have managed in more of a production type of environment, airline pilots. We've got a lot of different types of people. So, as long as they have good people skills and want to build a business, then we can give them the tools to help them do that.
I guess the diversity has certainly added to ServiceMaster's success, too. I imagine, Dave, working with all different types of individuals, and their backgrounds. And I suspect that ServiceMaster, gets a lot of, great ideas from their franchisees as well.
Well, we do, and diversity is a key word for us because we have over the years tried to expand our franchise base by having more minority owners or more women owners, and been very strong in working with the IFA on their VetFran program and looking for opportunities for veterans, which we believe we have a good one here because it's a low cost business, low investment, and we have a great finance plan that can help them get started in their business as well.
That's great, and I think that's so important. How do you describe a typical day? If you want to focus on the janitorial aspect of the business, Dave, what would a typical day be like for a franchisee?
Well, again, it's a management business, so a typical day would probably be anything from hiring and training a new employee to going out and meeting with a customer on a customer service issue, to going out and looking at a new bid opportunity that may be coming up. Maybe it's a new building that's looking for commercial cleaning services, and it's a walk through the building with the owner of the building and scoping out the work that they're going to want to be done on a nightly basis. And then it could end up with a opportunity to do a networking conference at a Chamber of Commerce event. So quite a wide range of activities throughout the day.
That's great. One of the things I love about this business, too, is I guess location is not really key. Is it? I mean, do you look for a specific location for the franchisees, or it doesn't have to be like on a main strip, of course?
No, that's right. It's actually a business that a lot of our owners will start out of their homes, and we certainly allow that. But then as they grow the business and get more employees and need to spend more time training those employees, then they'll move to an industrial mall type of office facility. Then they'll have a place where they could store some equipment and supplies as well. But, that's another good thing about it. It can be started with low overhead because you're not paying rent right off the bat. So, certainly not a location-oriented type business.
Absolutely, and I think that's great. What about the training? How does that work, Dave? I mean, do they typically come down to corporate headquarters, once you decide that you like them and they like you and everyone wants to go forward? How does that work?
Yeah, they do, Marty. They come here for 2 weeks. The first week is what we call production training, so we actually teach them how to do the cleaning, and that's working with some of the equipment we have and the products that we have. And then the second week is what we call management week, and that's where they learn about recruiting, hiring, training employees, putting a budget together, how to cost out a job, marketing, what are the marketing tools, and techniques, strategies that we're going to be using, and all the management side of the business, if you will.
That's great. What advice would you give to our listeners, Dave? We call them aspiring franchipreneurs. Many of them have it in their mind that they want to get into franchising, but we find that a lot of them simply just don't know where to begin because there's just so many choices today. What would you say to them? Well,
I would say certainly spend the time and do their homework. I mean, the opportunity that you offer with your show is a great one, and there's lots of great material on the internet and in publications out there. So read as much as you can, learn as much as you can, and then try to narrow down what type of business that you can afford. Number one, and number two, that really you have somewhat of a passion for, because I think you really have to have a sense of some fun in what you're going to be doing for the next while, and so that passion, I think, is important. And then really just to find the right fit. Try to narrow it down and spend a lot of time talking to franchisors, meet with them, go to their discovery days, and learn as much as you can while you're going through that process of finding what is the right fit for you. And then I'd say, lastly, find a franchisor who's has a lot of experience, been around for a while, and is strong financially.
And ServiceMaster is definitely, I think, one of the oldest, probably, franchises that we've had, on the show over the last, 6 years. Is certainly up there, and I think that's important. So what's next for ServiceMaster? I mean, as far as your plans for the future, Dave, if you could look in a crystal ball the next, 3 to 5 years.
Well, our goal is to be number one in every service line that we're in. So whether it's in the janitorial side or disaster restoration, or some of our other brands like Terminex, our goal as a company is to be number one in each brand that we're involved with. And our other goal is to double our business in 5 years. And you might think that's a pretty heady growth plan for a company that's been around for 66 years, franchising for 61. But that's our goal, is to double our business. And we certainly think that because in all of our businesses, we're in very fragmented industries, that we have the opportunity to do that by working smart and by continuing to innovate, which we think is key to the future.
That's fantastic. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information, Dave, on ServiceMaster Clean? Is there a specific website they should go to?
Sure. I'll give you a couple of websites.
Okay.
One is ServiceMasterFranchise.com.
Okay.
And that's a good one for ServiceMaster Clean. And then one on our other franchise brands would be OwnAFranchise.com.
OwnAFranchise.com. That's fantastic. And I'm so glad I finally got to have you on the show, Dave, and I'm going to keep watching those yellow trucks come by. There's a lot of them here in Pennsylvania.
Well, good. We're happy to hear that there is. And thank you for the opportunity,
all over the place. So, it's great. So have a happy July 4th, Dave, and we'll love to have you back next year.
Okay, great. Thanks now.
Thanks so much, Dave. I will be right back with more franchise interviews.
Franchisers, are you looking to reach aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise? Are you looking to reach a highly educated audience on franchising? For over 6 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys, and our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott, the president of Franchise Interviews, and this week the Entrepreneur Source is hosting its virtual Start a Business Weekend Expo, July 25th through July 27th. The theme for this weekend is Business Ownership Right for You? Registration for the Start a Business Weekend Expo is currently open with no registration fee. You can go to www.startabusinessweekend.com. That's www.startabusinessweekend.com.
Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott from Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising. For each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. You know, Don and I have been hosting Franchise Interviews now for almost 2 years with 100 shows under our belt, and during that time frame we've had some incredible quotes from the guests that have been on our show. If you're a frequent listener to our weekly radio show, then you know what fans Don and I are of the great Michael Gerber, author of the very successful E-Myth Revisited and Awakening the Entrepreneur Within. What's even more amazing is how often Michael's name has come up from our guest in the past 2 years. So you're going to hear from the great Michael Gerber in just a moment. And for the first time on Blog Talk Radio, Franchise Interviews is giving franchisors a unique opportunity to sponsor our weekly radio show. You can have a professionally recorded commercial run on our live as well as archive shows. And here's a quick message from our sponsor, and then again the great Michael Gerber. Enjoy.
Franchise Interviews. For over 2 years now, Franchise Interviews has been giving you an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship.
Through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising.
And our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisors, franchisees, franchise authors, experts, and attorneys.
And our free franchise newsletter, which is a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise.
And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919.
That's 610-905-2919.
Which, by the way, I'm now reading again for the second time. I recommend everybody out there, it's been a while since they've read the E-Myth, to read it again. It's really a great little refresher because people seem to forget about things over time, Michael.
I've got guys, I swear, Don, who tell me they pull out the E-Myth Revisited every year. Mm-hmm. One gentleman I spoke to, the founder of an extraordinary company, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, mm-hmm. who's a franchisor.
Right.
He credits the E-Myth with the creation of his company, and he credits the E-Myth with the continued vitalization of his company and the growth of his company. They now have a few more than 300 franchisees around the world. The guy is less than 40. He's the CEO of this company. He started by driving a truck, picking up junk, read the book, read the E-Myth Revisited, and suddenly saw the light. And the product of that is a company which last year did $147 million in gross revenue and has the expectation of reaching $1 billion in revenue in the next 8 years. So the man's on path, and he takes the E-Myth out every year and reads it again and insists that every one of his management team reads the book. And in fact, I'm the keynote at his annual event in March. So I'll be in Vancouver addressing 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Right. The show we had last week, Michael, with the CEO and president of a franchise opportunity called Desert Moon, Gary Okigrasso, he spoke about you for like 10 minutes during the show. I mean, it's just amazing the impact that you've had in the franchise community. I mean, your name comes up every other show. Thank you.
And, I don't know 90% of these people, so I hear
be happy
for what this guy says and this guy says and that guy. It's really quite extraordinary to me because I don't know these people.
Exactly. I can't imagine, what kind of fuel you have. I mean, I don't know how you go to bed at night, Michael. I mean, changing the story you told about, the young gentleman, being depressed and stuff like that. I mean, the kind of fuel that you must get from that kind of situation must be incredible for you.
It is. It's absolutely extraordinary, and life is simply an array of infinite options, and they're continually showing up. Absolutely. They're constantly showing up. I can't imagine how anybody could feel limited or deprived of opportunity when there is so much more opportunity than any single one of us could possibly deal with. And I see it every single day in my mind. There's one. Why doesn't anybody do that? Why doesn't anybody do that? It's extraordinary when you begin to experience the entrepreneur within, and anybody, any single person on the face of this earth can experience it if they begin the process right. And that's what I'm committed to.
Absolutely. And the title is great, too, Michael, how you added, in addition to how ordinary people create extraordinary companies without any experience to guide them. You were one of those people, I think you referenced Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Michael Dell. I mean, all these guys really didn't have this significant experience in business. It was all based on a dream or their imagination.
Exactly. They had no experience in business. Bill Gates wasn't a business guy.
Right.
Bill Gates didn't work for a living. Bill Gates went to Harvard and then dropped out. Michael Dell didn't have any experience when he started his business. Nobody, no great entrepreneur has necessarily had any business experience at all. They simply imagined a result that they saw was absolutely needed in the world, and then they invented the answer to that problem in a business. Well, anybody can do that.
Right.
And in the book, Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, I take you step by step through the golden process through which any company can be started from scratch in your garage. And I'm essentially saying, if your car is parked in your garage, move it out and start a business.
Exactly, absolutely.
It seems like, Michael, top entrepreneurs are never satisfied. I mean, in Chapter 3 of your book, I thought it was great. You talk about you woke up one day and you had nothing to do. Personally, I mean, that's my dream, to wake up one day and have nothing to do, but just for a day before I get back to business. But, of course, yourself being a top entrepreneur, you just weren't satisfied with that. You had to, take that next step and do something great again, and that's what you did, obviously, with this book.
Yeah, well, and you got to understand, when I say I had nothing to do, I had everything to do, but I didn't have to do it.
Right.
In other words, I didn't have to go out and earn a living anymore.
True.
But I do. I didn't have to go out and speak anymore, but I do continuously. I didn't have to go out and write another book. My books are among the top 5 business books ever published in the world. E-Myth Revisited sells more books every year than it sold before. Wow. It's the most extraordinary phenomenon. So I didn't have to do anything. There's nothing that caused me to go out and create the dreaming room other than my fertile imagination. And I'm simply saying what an extraordinary place to live in the imagination, because one can begin to imagine a world unlike the world we live in and then take it upon yourself to invent it. And that's all it is, inventing it. Everybody invents every single day of their life. The problem is most of us invent the past.
Mm-hmm. True.
I'm about inventing the future.
Right. And this book precedes the E-Myth, Michael, so I guess everybody who has read the E-Myth is going to have to read Awakening the Entrepreneur Within as well.
Your lips to God's ears.
There you go.
Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you again next week with another edition of Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.
On the altar with a life that isn't fit for